to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
The C.J. Kafis, third-round pick just 2 years ago.
The next pitch, Kafis with a high drive, deep center field. On the run is Isbell. Track, wall, gone! How about that? C.J. Kafis with a two-run home run to center.
In the big leagues for a month, and perhaps his biggest swing so far. It's 3-2 Cleveland.
When they start struggling a little bit, they start yelling at each other. The Philadelphia Eagles opened the floodgates last year in the Super Bowl versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, hey, the Philadelphia Eagles punched them in the face. The Chiefs didn't know how to react to that because no one else was doing that. Well, going into this year now, the Los Angeles Chargers punched them in the face. The Chiefs were like, whoa, they're coming at us. How do we react? Well, they didn't know how to react because no one was doing that before. If you punch these guys in the face, you take it to them, you come out swinging, they're going to fold, and they're not going to be the team that you've been seeing all last year.
From the 8 to the outside, wide open touchdown, Tucker Craft. The fourth, 24-10, home team.
Bailey to throw, touchdown, NC State.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome into Sports Day. My name is Brant Daughtry, and we've got a great show for you today. Landon Winkler's over in the corner. He's running the cameras. He's running the production. If you're watching this on YouTube, say thank you to Landon. It's going to be a great show for you today. We've got Brady Keith, the head coach of the Larned Indians. We've got Connor Nickel of Sunflower Sports Solutions. And we've got Mike Hesher, the play-by-play man for the Great Bend Panthers. So I've got to get through this quickly. Here we go. It's the sounds of the past 24 hours. Rookie C.J. Kafis broke the hearts of Royals fans by hitting a two-run homer in the 8th against the Royals, giving Cleveland the comeback win and the series. Kansas City is now 5 games back in the wild card race with 15 games to play. And a weekend series in Philadelphia starting tonight at 5 right here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Brutal series loss for the Royals. They couldn't afford to give that one up, and they did anyway. And now with 15 games left in the regular season, it is going to be a struggle to get to that wild card spot. If they had taken 2 out of 4 or especially 3 out of 4, they would have felt really good about it. But now they are, I think, a game and a half behind Cleveland, and with 15 games left to play, and got to go and start a weekend series with the Phillies tonight. That's going to be kind of brutal. We'll know a lot after this weekend as far as the Royals. NFL legend Rob Gronkowski comments on the Chiefs' demeanor following the loss to the Chargers last week. He said that the Eagles supplied the blueprint on how to take down Kansas City in the Super Bowl last year, and if you come out on the offensive, they'll fold. Kind of the exact opposite of what we heard from Andy Reid yesterday. I said I agreed more with Andy Reid. I still think I do. I think this is more along the lines of my thinking, is that it's an emotional game. When things go wrong, yeah, guys get emotional. It is what it is. But I do think that if it continues, then, obviously that's a big problem. Of course, the bigger problem being, well, things continue to go wrong. That's a bigger issue than anything. Jordan Love threw for 292 yards and 2 touchdowns last night as the Packers took down the Commanders on Thursday Night Football. The Packers had 4 sacks on the night. Yeah, the addition of Micah Parsons makes your entire pass rush better. Who would have thought? The Packers look really good. A lot of people said they were Super Bowl contenders after adding Micah Parsons, as long as Jordan Love could keep progressing. He's certainly looked good through 2 games, and Micah Parsons has looked dominant. The pass rush is really good. Yeah, the Packers are a scary team right now. And NC State trailed Wake Forest 24-17 at halftime, but dominated the second half and won 34-24. The Demon Deacons were held to just 44 yards of offense in the second half, and Wolfpack quarterback C.J. Bailey threw for 201 yards and 3 touchdowns. The first half was a really good showing for Wake Forest. The second half, my goodness, it was ugly, man. It was really, really not pretty for Robbie Ashford in that Wake Forest offense, and that's just not what you want to see from a guy who's been in college football as long as Robbie Ashford has, and is a guy that I've been rooting for. But sure enough, it was a really bad showing from them. Sports Day is presented by the Barton Cougar Booster Club, continuing their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country, and by Equity Bank, here when you need us. Bank local, save big with in-person banking and business banking. Visit equitybank.com for more information. Equity Bank in Great Bend, Hoisington, and Larned. We're going to take our first break of the show. When we come back, We are joined with a conversation that I had yesterday over the phone with Brady Keith, the head coach of the Larned Indians, to talk about his team's first game last week, and unfortunately lost, but they have another shot tonight as they travel to face off against Hillsborough. First break of the show. When we come back, we'll have that.
Barton Community College has college classes that fit your life and your budget. With 5 flexible start dates, Barton Online is perfect for picking up a class or earning your associate's degree at less than half the cost of a university. Study anytime, from anywhere. Save time, save money. Start strong with Barton Online. Ready to take the next step? Visit online.bartonccc.edu and enroll today.
C&E Doors, this is Eddie.
Papa, are you ready to get back to work?
Back to work? But I've been here the whole time.
But I'm back in school. You're gonna have to run the shop without me.
It will be hard without you, but people know that we provide the best service no matter the time of the year.
You could always ask me, Mom, for more help.
Who do you think is really running this place?
Garage door sales, service, and repair at C&E Doors in Great Bend and Hayes.
Marmy Auto Group makes it happen. Central and Western Kansas. Check out our selection of new and pre-owned inventory. Marmy's friendly staff offers top quality service that you've gotten to know over the years. When your existing vehicle needs parts or service, our experienced team will get you back in the game this season. Marmy Chevrolet, GMC, Ford and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram, parts, service, and body shop. Visit Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street or marmys.net. Marmys make it happen.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec.
Sports, leisure, fitness, and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at the Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend or check out the all-new website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into Sports Day. Brant Daughtry in the captain's chair, now joined by the head coach of the Larned Indians, Coach Brady Keith. Coach, thanks for taking the time. How are you today?
We're excellent. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic over here. Let's get right into it, Coach. Your first game of the year against Smoky Valley, one of the wins you had last year, and this time things didn't go your way. A defensive slugfest in this one, and Larned falls 8-6.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to those guys. You know, they were physical up front. You know, they played good, sound defense against us. You know, and you know, their run game all night. You know, it was just well executed. You know, so those guys are well coached by Coach Lambert over there in Smoky Valley, and like I said, hats off to them. You know, I thought that we played a pretty sound football game on the defensive side. And offense, we did a lot of good things. Just the penalties killed us. That was kind of the story of the night for us.
And, Coach, the low-scoring game, like I said, 0-0 at halftime. All the scoring takes place in the third quarter. You guys get the touchdown, can't convert the two-pointer, or at least that's what box score watching looks like. And then, then Smoky Valley able to answer on that one. Just what happened in that third quarter, and how did we get to this result?
Well, so at the beginning of the third quarter, you know, we went down and scored, had our best drive of the night. Yeah, and like you said, we just couldn't capitalize on that 2-point conversion. You know, and a lot of times, you know, you look back on a game and, you know, you see little moments, you know, where you can improve, and that definitely was one for us, you know, is that 2-point conversion. And then, you know, for them, they went down and scored that very next drive, and they got their 2-point conversion, you know, and so just talking with the kids, you know, every moment in the game matters. You know, you're all happy, you know, because you scored a touchdown, did a lot of good things, and once that 2-point conversion comes around, you still got to take care of business, you know. And they did that and we didn't, and that was one of those things that kind of made the difference. But all that being said, we were really proud of our guys, and if you're going to lose, you want to go out swinging, and that's what we did.
Hey, Coach, let's give you a chance here. Brag about your defense a little bit. Only gave up one score all night, and like I said, for the most part, pitched a shutout. What did your defense do to hold down Smoky Valley?
Well, they were just flying around with the ball. I mean, one of our team goals is that we have 8 guys around the ball at least 60% of the time, and I think we probably did even better than that on Friday night last week. The kids just did great. Kids across the field, run to the ball, and we had 6, 7, 8 guys to the ball a lot. That really helped us, and the kids were physical and they were sound, and we were just really proud of their effort. Because sometimes a kid might not do the exact thing that he's coached to do. That happens here and there, but when that happened on Friday night, maybe they're going to the wrong gap or something, but then they're making up for it with incredible effort. And so we're very, very, very proud of those guys.
I want to give you a chance to brag on a couple of individuals here, Coach. Do you have anybody that you want to shout out, or any one player that stands out in your mind as having a great game?
Well, I mean, I'll start up front. Kyler Green. He plays guard for us, and he had a lot of pancake blocks. We're running trap a lot of the evening, and he was just making things pretty hard on our ends. The trap play is nice because you have an interior defensive lineman thinking that he's unblocked, and then you got big old Kyler Green coming across and cleaning his clock, and so that pretty proud of that kid. And Mason Miller, our quarterback, threw a really nice game. He's had a lot of nice balls that he threw. Kobe Lang, a sophomore, had a nice lot of catches, and I think a lot of people in town probably hadn't heard of that kid before, but I guarantee you they know of him now. And Tristan Regan had a nice night. David Colglazier had a nice night carrying the ball for us. I think Colglazier, I think he ran for around 130 or something from the fullback position. Just a lot of tough running. And Luke Crable is a senior that we have this year. He didn't get a lot of action in the passing game, but he executed a really, really important block on our only touchdown of the night that allowed us to score. And, I'm sure I'm missing kids, but those are some guys that just popped into my head right now.
Coach, let's look ahead here. You've got Hillsboro coming up. What have you seen from them, and how can you improve on your team?
So Hillsboro is, they're pretty good sized. Their quarterback is a stud. Their running back is a stud. And they're a really talented football team. They dropped one last Friday like we did, but I know that Coach Cox over there in Hillsboro has been saying the right things to him all week and getting his guys ready to go. And so we're expecting a really good game on Friday. Probably close scoring, or the score will be close, and we're just going to have to duke it out, and we're really excited about that. And for us this week, it was just, cleaning up some little things, like just especially like, the false starts and stuff like that, that we need to clean up. We're feeling good about where we are, but at the same time, like, we got to do those little things right. And that was a big point of, it was a big coaching point this week.
Well, Coach, good luck to you, and hope next week when we're speaking, you got a win under the belt.
Yeah, that'd be great. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. That's Coach Brady Keith of the Larned Indians joining us today on Sports Day. Big thanks to Coach Keith for coming into the studio, or joining me on the phone there. We'd love to have him in studio. We have the other two coaches that we carry live. They're able to come into the studio. Coach Keith, just with the schedule that he has during his workday, he can take about 10, 15 minutes and speak with me, but he doesn't have the time to come into the studio, which is totally fair. That man is a teacher in addition to being a football coach, like a lot of folks are around here. So he just can't get the time off. But still appreciate the fact that he's willing to come on to the phone line with me and have a conversation, and we'll be doing that every week going forward. Sports Day is brought to you by C&E Doors, your full-service garage door company. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison. Also brought to you in part by the Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend. We've got to take another break, And when we come back, I had a long and very informing conversation with Connor Nickel of Sunflower Sports Solutions. He and I are going to talk about all things high school football that happened last week, everything coming up tonight. He's going to give his thoughts on a couple of the big matchups, including the games that we're carrying. You'll hear that right after this break. You're listening to Sports Day, live from the Mayo Money Management Studio right here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Service from people you know, quality products and professional installation. That's Kern Floor Service. Stop by Kern Floor Service and browse through the different selections of flooring from laminate to vinyl, carpet, wood, and ceramic tile. See their selection of area rugs or special order the one that fits your decor, and don't forget, they can spice up those countertops too. So stop by Kern Floor Service today. Kern Floor Service, 908 Coolidge in Great Bend. Sutherland's is your complete home improvement and hardware store. Tens of thousands of products are in stock at everyday low prices. Sutherland's also offers custom buildings, including post-frame barns, garages, and deck packages too. The friendly and knowledgeable staff at Sutherland's, always ready to help you with any project. From hardware, lumber, cabinets, plywood, and OSB, fencing, power tools, furniture, and more. They simply sell for less. Sutherland's, West 10th, Great Bend, helping America build it better since 1917.
Selling your farm or ranch acres can be stressful. At Red Cedar Land Company, they are extremely diverse in the number of ways they can represent you, and they tailor each project to meet their seller's needs. One of the biggest questions for a seller is, what is my land worth? At Red Cedar Land Company, they offer a free market analysis to help you better understand the value of your land. You deserve a better selling experience. Put your trust in Red Cedar Land Company. Call Cody Crook with Red Cedar Land Company at 620-617-7320. Needing a healthcare plan for your business? Let the experienced team at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your needs. Whether you're a large company or a small business on Main Street, FCMI can help you provide employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. From setup to ongoing support, they handle it all. Schedule your free no-obligation health assessment today at freedomclaimsinc.com. That's Freedom Claims Management Incorporated, with locations in Great Bend, Russell, and Plainville.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local equity bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Sports, leisure, fitness, and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at the Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend, or check out the all-new website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
C&E Doors, this is Eddie.
Papa, are you ready to get back to work?
Back to work? But I've been here the whole time.
But I'm back in school. You're gonna have to run the shop without me.
It will be hard without you, but people know that we provide the best service no matter the time of the year.
You could always ask me, Mom, for more help.
Who do you think is really running this place?
Garage door sales, service, and repair at C&E Doors in Great Bend and Hayes.
Get on the fast track to earn your national certification with Barton Community College's new Medical Lab Assistant program. In less than 1 year, you'll gain hands-on training to work in medical labs, clinics, and hospitals, delivering critical patient care. With flexible learning, including 100% online courses and lab hours at your local hospital, you can grow your career or start fresh. Healthcare needs skilled professionals like you. Enroll now at mla.bartonccc.edu.
Welcome back into Sports Day. Brant Daughtry now joined by Connor Nickler of Sunflower Sports Solutions for our weekly Friday chat about all things high school athletics in the state of Kansas. And Connor, it's the big story. Week 1 in Acacia football, and it's underway. Was there anything that just shocked you or stood out to you as surprising over the weekend?
Yeah, there were five results that really were highlighted, I think, across the state. I want to, we're going to get to Hayes High Derby here in a second, but the Wellington Collegiate score was really interesting. Wellington last year set a lot of passing records for their school. They had a great quarterback. They played Andale to 1 score. They were quarterfinalists in 4A. They graduated quite a few kids. Collegiate was a major question mark in 3A. People had them ranked as high as 3 or 4, had them ranked maybe as low as 10, but people were like defaulting. Collegiate's always good, and Wellington beat them in a very resounding Week 1 win. That game was really interesting. Holcomb and Cheney was another really interesting 3A game. There's a lot in 3A right now that is outside of maybe Andale and Hayden. 3 through about 10 had some shifting for sure. I think another result was the 3 defending state champions all losing. Lawrence Free State losing to Gardner, or beating Gardner, I should say, was a very interesting 6A result. Osborne, Osborne's about an hour or so from Great Bend. I've preached this all summer long. Osborne has some amazing freshmen. Tate Tiernan, the coach's son, he looks like a grown man. He threw 6 touchdown passes. This was a group in junior high. Did not lose in football, wasn't even scored upon. Basketball, they just ran through their schedule. They've got 4 or 5 freshmen who are just exceptional players. And then, of course, the big one, Hayes High beating Derby in the rain, opened a lot of eyes. Hayes High had you got Zane Viegra, their first year starting quarterback. Braxton Baxkel catching the two point conversion. For them to play with Derby, really impressive.
Yeah, that Hayes High Derby game was the one that it just stood out to me as kind of that feels like a really big time game that came down to the wire. Go into some more detail about that contest.
Well, certainly. So last year was a 40-7 game. Derby, of course, had the Tennessee commit to tight end, the Brame kid who caught several really big passes in that game. But Hayes High just simply played toe-to-toe with Derby. I mean, that game was close the entire way. Yes, the weather was maybe not the greatest, but what really was impressive with Hayes High, not only did Viegra play so well, but you saw the line up front. I mean, Hayes High's offensive line and their defensive line, that is the strength of their team. And can they move people off the ball? And for them to go toe-to-toe with that great Derby line, Maxwell Robinson for Derby is a Power 5 Division I kid. And last year, up front, I mean, Derby kind of had their way, as Derby does with most teams. But to win this in a 22-21 game, when Derby has lost over the years, it's generally been in shootouts. You think of that Mays game a couple years ago with Avery Johnson going against now his college teammate Dylan Edwards. It's 50-49. But when Derby doesn't lose games like this in the 20s, for Hayes High to go and match the physicality and toughness up front and not have to score 45 points to win with a new quarterback, Hayes High can say, we can play with anybody. But frankly, they might play teams tonight and in Week 3 who are better than Derby. I mean, Choctaw, Oklahoma is an exceptional team, and then Manhattan, quite honestly, might be the best team in Kansas.
Now let's focus a little more locally here. Great Bend takes down McPherson 42-7. It was interesting. I talked with Coach Aaron Beck last week, And he said that last year he felt like his team was kind of unfocused. And that quote has stuck out to me. I brought it up a couple of times now on this show. But this time they come out, they beat McPherson 42-7. The defense steps up in the red zone to create some non-offensive touchdowns multiple times. It felt like a really dominant win for Great Bend.
Yeah, no question about it. That win was really, I think, impactful, and something the going line for what Great Bend did was the margin was bigger than what we all expected. If you were to take kind of the statewide around the state of what people thought of that game, the margin was bigger. For Great Bend to lead 14-0 after the first quarter, 28-7 at half, to really play like that. You can't count, obviously, on non-offensive touchdowns every week, but that was a very dominant win. And if you noticed in the polls, especially the K-Preps poll, which is kind of maybe the poll of record for Kansas, Great Bend is still above Hayes High. And Hayes High went to Derby and won. And so a lot of people came away very impressed with Great Bend. I think McPherson, I have them as a potential breakout team this year in 4A. And for Great Bend to do what they did in week one was really impressive. I think Olathe South, to have a Sunflower team come in, that's going to be another nice matchup. Obviously, Great Bend's going there. For them to rule over Shawnee Mission West in week one, Shawnee Mission West has struggled for a while now. But for O-South, a team that is not maybe known for tremendous offense, to put up that many points, that was a really impressive week one game. I've got this highlighted, maybe not as a top 6 or 7 game all classes, but Olathe South Great Bend's a top 20 game all classes. I think we're going to learn a lot about both teams tonight.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about that game. Olathe South, a team with a new head coach in this year, and like you said, won 63-7, and that easily gets people's attention. They're a school out of the Kansas City area, a bigger school. Highlight that matchup for us.
Certainly. So, the thing with South, for the last probably 3 or 4 years, they've had a great tailback. They've always been kind of a mid-tier pack team when you look at 6A, when you look at the Sunflower League. Probably just for a brief bit of history, you go back maybe 10, 12 years at this point. The Sunflower League used to always play each other. And then they went to the open schedule in week one and then even week two. Obviously, you saw Lawrence Free State play. Lawrence Free State has played some Western teams. Garden City has gone there. Even there were some years ago when O-South and the Hayes High played. So it's been some of these nice East-West matchups here. Mike Allen, he's been a coach in the Kansas City area who's coached a number of years. Gates Lee's back at quarterback. The major thing is, can they run the ball against quality teams like they have the last 3 or 4 years? Max Armstrong, their main tailback last year, rushed for over 1,200 yards last year, had a really nice season 2 years ago. Andy Edwards, their top player on defense is gone too. The overall top line question for South for me, can they run the ball without a bell cow back like they have done? And again, Shawnee Mission West, kind of hard to see with that, considering I think they're 1-27 now in their last 28 games. The West has really struggled now for a while. I expected South to win handily, but for South to put up that many points, can say, hey, West is really at the bottom right now, or maybe O-South has found some pieces after Max Armstrong has departed the program.
All right, let's move north just a little bit. Hoisington beating Pratt 34-8. I was on the call for this game. I know what happened last year in this game. It was the worst loss of the Cardinals' season as far as point differential. And I know that Pratt lost a lot of starters, and they're not exactly the same team, but still, I was really impressed with the way that Hoisington played in this game.
Oh, so was I. I mean, I thought that, again, I've got Hoisington. I think according to the K-Prep's internal polls, I've got Hoisington the highest of anybody in 2A. I think that they are a really, really good team. Really impressed with how Coach Zach Baird just reloads game in and game out. And for them to hold, again, you have to understand this. Okay, I'm going to go in some nuance here, but if you go over the last 3 years, okay, and if you extract the Andale games from Pratt's schedule, and if you look at just games when Pratt has played non-Andale teams, and if you say, what is the average scoring offense for Pratt in those games, it's really high. It is really, really high. And, I mean, I expected Hoisington to score. For them to score in the 30s is very, standard, really, for them. I mean, Coach Barrett has fielded a top 8 to 10 offense pretty much every year. But for them to hold Pratt to 7 points, that, frankly, that just doesn't happen. Or 8 points, I should say. That just doesn't happen. And, you look at last year, the only games, I mean, they are scoring 26 against Cheney, 46 against Clearwater, even 12 against a really good collegiate team. They just don't score in the single digits. 23 was a really good Pratt season, and also 22 in particular was a great Pratt season, where outside of Andale and Cheney, they were scoring against everybody. So again, some nuance to Pratt. Overall top line, more impressed with Hoisington's defense than offense. Offense was what I thought they were going to be. Defensively, they were better.
And let's look ahead for Hoisington's matchup tonight. They travel to Heston. I'll be on the call of that one. Heston loses Carter Gonzalez, who was kind of their do-everything guy, and that's kind of feels like the story for the Swathers from what I have seen.
Yes, you're exactly right. Tyson Bowerly has been there for a while now. Before that, he was at Sterling. I was at the Hoisington-Heston game in 23, and I remember Coach Bowerly telling me, once we get some things figured out, we're going to be pretty good. They started out 0-2, and then they finished 5-3. And then last year, I projected them to have a breakthrough year, and they went 8-2. So you're looking at a team now that is, 13-7, 14-7, and then their last 20-plus games. And I like Coach Bowerly a lot. But yes, you are exactly right. It sounds simplistic, but Heston has been a team now, even going back to when Clint Ryder was there, that when they're going to win, it's generally because they have more athletes than the other team. They don't necessarily line up and say, we're going to have 270-pound guys, or we're just going to blow the doors right off. They're going to generally have a better quarterback than you. They're going to generally have better receivers, better skill guys. And yes, when they have suffered a key injury over the years, you go back to 23 when they had quarterback issues for part of the year because of people not being able to play. That really affected them a lot. And that's why I think Hoisington wins tonight, because I do not think Heston has the athletes and the best player on the field to win a game like this tonight.
So you say they don't have the best player on the field. Who do you think the best player on the field is going to be?
Well, I think to me, I think you could mention a couple on Hoisington and kids, and sometimes with Hoisington, I won't say a true player, but I'm going to say position. I'm going to say Hoisington's offensive line will be the best unit on the field. You look at Hoisington's groups over the years. You've had Pedigo or Robinson or people like that, or a Paxton or a Hanslick, who have been the best player on the field. But there's been times when Hoisington has had the best line on the field, and I think tonight, rather than saying one player, the best position group on the field will be Hoisington's offensive line.
Okay, and one more game in the CKL we want to look at from last week and then preview. Smoky Valley takes down Larned 8-6, a defensive slugfest where all the scoring happened in the third quarter. What can you tell us about that one?
Yeah, so I projected Smoky Valley to win. I projected Smoky Valley to be a breakout team. I mean, you look at Tim Lambert over the years, and for those who are not familiar, maybe the greatest Smith Center quarterback of all time was at St. Francis for a long time, won a number of games there, Concordia, Smoky Valley. I believe he is sixth active on the wins list. For them to win, I smiled at that 8-6 score because I said this sounds like a Tim Lambert type of game. They only have 170 yards of offense. They run the ball 90% of the time. It's just grind it out, smash mouth ball. Who can get to 12 first? And they forced 3 turnovers last week. It was very much a Smoky Valley type of game. They win tonight against the Belle Plaine team that hasn't won in 2 years. And then you look at Larned. I think Larned's still got to be feeling just pretty good about things. I mean, man, it would be nice to have won, but you're facing a Hillsborough team that was very, very competitive with Haven, which is an above-average 2A team. Hillsborough Larned, a game that Larned says we probably need to win this game tonight because then we would be 0-2 against some teams on the schedule that are maybe better than we are. Southeast of Saline's on the schedule. Halstead, you've got just some other really, really good teams coming up. As you go, Platt's on the schedule, Hoisington, obviously. And I think if you are Larned, you say, we have to win tonight. I think TMP's in this boat. We're facing a team that is similar to us, but we think that we're probably a bit better. So I think if you are the Indians, you're going to have a much better taste in your mouth with a win tonight.
Yeah, like you said, traveling to face Hillsborough. I spoke with Brady Keith earlier in the show, and he said that, wow, it would have been nice to clean up some of those mistakes and not have as many mistakes as they did. You mentioned the turnovers. He talked about penalties as well. He thought that defensively they played a really good game, and they think that they can build on that moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, to hold a team, a turnover margin just fluctuates so much. And that just goes up and goes down. But if you're a Larned defense, you say we hold Smoky Valley to 160 yards of total offense and only 34 plays for a ball control team. You've got to feel really, really good about that.
All right, so you are going to be traveling to Norton tonight to call that game with TMP. Where else should people's eyes be, and what can they expect from tonight in high school football?
Well, let's stay in Barton County, the best 8-man game in the state, and a game that is, I think, a top 5 game all classes. Victoria, Central Plains, two state runner-ups. The guy to know, of course, Kyle Huser, the Victoria senior lineman, top 5 lineman, all classes, 4-year starter. Central Prairie League Offensive Player of the Year last year as a lineman. Victoria won this game 52-12 last year. They returned the opening kickoff for a score. The Victoria with 9 seniors who all play. Central Plains with the Kreitz kid back at quarterback. I've got Victoria winning, but again, this is a top 3 matchup. I've got another great game in Barton County tonight.
All right, and Connor, if people want more Sunflower Sports Solutions, how can they get it?
Yeah, sunflowersportsolutions.com. We have the arrangement with kpreps.com in the fall as well. Follow along. We've got over 200 teams in the stats there, and of course we'll be posting more things as we progress here.
Connor, I appreciate it, man. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Certainly, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Bye-bye. That's Connor Nickel of Sunflower Sports Solutions here on Sports Day. Connor Nickel, always a great interview, always a pleasure talking to him. The dude is just so knowledgeable about high school athletics, not just football, but everything that Sunflower Sports Solutions does. He's a big volleyball guy, and like he said, they work with K-Preps. And, folks, if you are looking for the K-Preps Kansas Kickoff pregame show, We will be running that tonight over on KHOK 100.7 Eagle Country before Hoisington faces off against Heston. Had to figure out the right H school. And we'll also be playing that on B1043 The Point before the game between Great Bend and Olathe South. So really looking forward to that. You want more K-Preps, you want more Sunflower Sports Solutions, we're going to be able to bring you that. So really looking forward to it. Sports Day today brought to you by Equity Bank, adding value for customers and communities. Equity Bank in Great Bend, Hoisington, and Larned. See the locations tab at equitybank.com for more locations. Also by Sutherland's, helping you build it better since 1917. From quality lumber, plywood, and OSB to cabinets, plumbing, hardware, and power tools, we have everything you need to get the job done. Visit Sutherland's on 10th Street. We need to take our next break, but before we do that, I do want to say our next segment is going to be a conversation that Mike Hesher and I had yesterday. Again, he's doing play-by-play for the Great Bend Panthers right now. It will be leading into our last segment of the show. But want to play that conversation with Hesh. Wanted to play it yesterday. Didn't really have the time, but I've got some time I can make today. So we'll play that. Also, I want to give a shout-out to a couple of people. My grandfather, who lives in Geneva, Alabama, a town about half the size of Great Bend, texted me the other day and said, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I'm watching, and I like watching your show. And, you know, I don't think he's ever been to Kansas. Pretty sure he hasn't, but he's lived in Geneva my entire life. That's where my dad grew up. But Pawpaw's watching, and I love my grandfather, and that made my heart smile a little bit. So, love you, Pawpaw. I'm glad to have you watching. And I just felt like saying that. And it's my show, so I can. All right, we got to take another break, and when we come back, Mike Hesher joins me on the show. You're listening to Sports Day live from the Mayo Money Management Studio right here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Needing a healthcare plan for your business? Let the experienced team at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your needs. Whether you're a large company or a small business on Main Street, FCMI can help you provide employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. From setup to ongoing support, they handle it all. Schedule your free no-obligation health assessment today at freedomclaimsinc.com. That's Freedom Claims Management Incorporated, with locations in Great Bend, Russell, and Plainville.
Sutherland's is your complete home improvement and hardware store. Tens of thousands of products are in stock at everyday low prices. Sutherland's also offers custom buildings, including post-frame barns, garages, and deck packages too. The friendly and knowledgeable staff at Sutherland's, always ready to help you with any project. From hardware, lumber, cabinets, plywood, and OSB, fencing, power tools, furniture, and more. They simply sell for less. Sutherland's, West 10th, Great Bend, helping America build it better since 1917.
Selling your farm or ranch acres can be stressful. At Red Cedar Land Company, they are extremely diverse in the number of ways they can represent you, and they tailor each project to meet their seller's needs. One of the biggest questions for a seller is, what is my land worth? At Red Cedar Land Company, they offer a free market analysis to help you better understand the value of your land. You deserve a better selling experience. Put your trust in Red Cedar Land Company. Call Cody Crook with Red Cedar Land Company at 620-617-7320.
Service from people you know, quality products and professional installation. That's Kern Floor Service. Stop by Kern Floor Service and browse through the different selections of flooring from laminate to vinyl, carpet, wood, and ceramic tile. See their selection of area rugs or special order the one that fits your decor, and don't forget, they can spice up those countertops too. So stop by Kern Floor Service today. Kern Floor Service, 908 Coolidge in Great Bend.
Welcome back to Sports Day. Grant Daughtry in the captain's chair, now joined by Mike Hesher, play-by-play man for the Great Bend High School Panthers.
Yes,
thanks for taking the time.
You bet. I'm enjoying being here, man.
Absolutely. And, hey, you know what? You had a whale of a game to call Friday night, just a bit of a wild one, and Great Bend came away with what scoreboard watching looks like an easy win.
That's right. It does look like an easy win, but I don't think it was as easy as what the 42-7 score was because, you know, they got two defensive touchdowns, and they were long touchdowns. As Cooper Omont, he returned a interception return. That was 80 yards for a TD. That was the first score for Great Bend. And then later in the game, it was a 93-yard fumble recovery by Hayden Kelly. So there's 12 points plus the extra points, 14 right there. And those were deep inside of Great Bend territory. So McPherson was moving the ball.
So the defense able to bow its neck, though, and, that you only give up 7 points. You have 2 non-offensive scores, but like you said, coming deep in Panther territory, that's, like you said, that's big playability.
That's a big play, and this Great Bend team has so many of those explosive players. They got 5 or 6 young men who can just make plays like that. You got Premer, Cooper Omot is one of those. Dak Smith in the quarterback, he can make big plays. Hayden Kelly obviously made a big play. We have not heard at all from Jacob Hall yet. He made some big plays last year, so they got some explosive players.
Coach Beck told us last week that he felt like this game last year, the team came out kind of sloppy, unfocused. You were on the call of that game, and you're on the call for this game. Do you feel like it was a more focused effort from Great Bend?
You're talking about McPherson?
Yes.
Okay. Last year, I could go with that. They got that. Cooper Omot took the opening kickoff back for a touchdown. And that was, you're up 7-0 right off the bat. And I would agree with Coach Beck. Things did kind of settle into a bad routine there for a while, but Great Bend got things going.
Okay, so, you look at this game, and do you think this is indicative of how good this Great Bend team can be?
Yes, I do. And everybody knows it who's following Great Bend High School football. Their one issue is their lack of depth. They just don't have a lack of depth. And that kind of goes along with, they had 5 or 6 players go down with the cramps on Friday night. It wasn't that warm, so that kind of – because they got so many players playing both ways.
Yep.
And that's the issue.
Yeah, I talked about it with Coach Beck last week as well, how this team and he kind of outlined the point that it is hard to play players both ways because they do get tired, but at the same time, when you have players like that, it's so hard to keep them off the field.
It is. I mean, you cannot keep Ian Premer off the field. You can't keep Cooper Omot. You just can't keep those players off the field. The Kern brothers, you can't keep those guys. They just have to be out there because they make big plays when they're out there.
You can't stop them from going out there because of how badly they want to be out there,
exactly.
But also you got to win games.
Yeah.
And those guys are do you have a couple of guys that I think can win a couple of games for you by themselves?
Oh, no question.
All on this team. So you can't afford to take them off the
field. And I think one of the players you have coming in today, Cale Kern, he was the one that forced the fumble that Hayden Kelly took back for the touchdown.
Okay, so yeah, we're recording this before the show on Thursday. And hey, no, you're good.
I tried to make it generic there to where they couldn't tell.
Yeah,
but
it is what it is.
Okay,
people know. I think I've talked about pre-recording on this show already before. But this game last year, Olathe South, Great Bend, I believe you told me they got out to a 21-0 lead.
It was 20-0. Great Bend got off to a 20-0 lead, and I speculate. This is my interpretation of it. Olathe South is not used to traveling. I mean, they're in the Kansas City area. I think the farthest probably have to go is Lawrence. So their longest trips are 45 minutes. They're on the bus for 4 hours. They get off that bus, and they're quickly down 20-0. Now they got settled in. They scored 14 points in the second quarter. It was 20-14 at halftime. Great Bend scores the only points of the second half on the way to the 26-14 victory. But I just think Great Bend has an advantage because they're used to getting on that bus and going to Liberal and Garden City and other places. But we'll see.
Yeah, this is going to be in Kansas City, right?
It's in Olathe, yeah.
Olathe,
which is a Kansas City suburb.
Okay. So this is going to be a long bus ride, but for a team that's used to long bus rides, but it's going to be a home game for Olathe South. And that's what is the Olathe South environment like?
Well, we'll find out. They watching video from last week, they were pumped. But they have a new coach. He's a first-year head coach, very excitable, and he had them up and running early on because they got 5 turnovers. I was looking at some of their stats, 5 turnovers on their way to the victory. And, they beat – I was looking because it's a 63-7 victory. I'm thinking, well, that's pretty impressive. Well, they beat Shawnee Mission Northwest, I think it is, Shawnee Mission North. They beat them pretty much the same way the last 4 years. So, I mean, it was not anything new and how bad they beat the Shawnee Mission team.
Yeah, this was a game, again, just scoreboard watching. I was busy with Hoisington on Friday night, but both of these teams put their opponents away pretty handily.
Right.
And so this feels like it could be a really big matchup.
It could be a big matchup. I'm looking forward to it because, Olathe North, they got that first-year head coach. He's excitable. A couple players that people might remember from last year, quarterback Gage Lee against Great Bend. He ran for 90 yards. He was only 13 out of 25. He threw 1 touchdown and a couple interceptions, but the rushing 15 out of 90, he was their main threat. But they have one player that did not play on Friday night for Olathe South. His name is Anthony Harris. He's a junior. He's 6'3". He's the one that stood out for me last year. Against Great Bend last year, he had 6 receptions for 102 yards and a touchdown. So, and he did not play on Friday night. And talking to their coach, I couldn't quite understand that he didn't have enough practices in or something like that. So he was not eligible to play on Friday night. He's supposed to play tomorrow night or Friday night against Great Bend.
Okay, so have you watched any of Olathe South's first game? What should people expect from them? From this new look Olathe South team?
To me, they looked a lot like Great Bend. Explosive. I mean, you get 5 turnovers in a game. There were 2 fumble recoveries and 3 interceptions. They had 3 running backs, Brant, that went over 100 yards.
Ooh.
So they had 390 yards total yards rushing. They only had 107 yards passing, but when you're running the ball like that, you're going to keep it on the ground. They're explosive backfield, and their quarterback, as I mentioned, Gage Lee, he's a senior, 2-year starter. He's explosive as well.
So potential high-scoring game then?
Very well could be, but those you expect, a lot of times when you're expecting those high-scoring games, it turns out to be a defensive struggle.
Could be.
You just don't know.
It feels to me that the schools out of Kansas City, and this is just where I'm from, the schools out of the bigger cities tend to have really good athletes.
They do.
And a lot of them to choose from.
And that's the issue, as we talked about. Looking at their 2 deeps, they don't have anybody that goes 2 ways at all.
Ooh.
And they have, they have nobody. So they'll be fresh. And like I say, their coach is a military veteran. So you can tell military background. So he's going to be disciplined, I believe, and a very nice man to talk to. His name is Michael Harris. And very interesting. Michael Allen, correction. He's very interesting. Came from San Diego and got to Kansas through knowing a former Chiefs defensive lineman and got to know the lineman, spent some time in Kansas City, and as people might expect, he met a girl, and he's living in the Kansas City area now.
As it always is,
It
right?
seems to have a big thing there, yes.
Okay. Well, Hesh, I think that's all I've got for you. Thanks for taking the time, man.
You bet. Have a great call on Friday night with Hoisington.
Thank you, too. That is Mike Hesher, play-by-play man for the Great Bend Panthers here on Sports Day. Big thanks to Hesh. He took some time out of his Thursday morning to help me out, come fill some time on the show. And like I said, wanted to play that yesterday. Kind of ran out of time with some other stuff that I had going, and we wound up playing it here today. Let's look at all the football people can watch tonight. If I can grab this sheet of paper that's in front of me. In the WAC, Great Bend is traveling to face Olathe South. Probably the closest game to us, Choctaw out of Oklahoma. Choctaw out of Oklahoma is traveling north. They'll face Hayes. It's about 45 minutes away. It's probably the closest game if you're here in Great Bend and you're just looking for some high school football to go watch. Liberal is traveling to face Wichita South. Olathe Northwest is traveling to face Garden City. And Olathe East is traveling to face Dodge City. So that's all in the WAC. In the CKL, Hoisington will travel to face Heston. I'll be on the call with that one with Gene Manweiler over on KHOK 100.7 Eagle Country. Larned will travel to face Hillsboro. They'll have that game on Hits 106.9. Gary Wagner with the call. Halstead is facing Pratt, 2 teams that I think are going to be pretty good, but both still looking for the first win after tough Week 1 losses. Haven will travel to face Nickerson. Haven 1-0, Nickerson 0-1. Smoky Valley, who beat Larned last week, will travel to face Belle Plaine, who, as you heard earlier from Connor Nickel, I believe he said they haven't won a game in 3 years, 2 years, or they're like won for their last 28 tries, something crazy like that. A game that Smoky Valley should win. Other 11-man games in the area, Harrington traveling to face Ellenwood. I hear a lot about Ellenwood. People seem to think Ellenwood is a really solid program, and I think that has a chance to show up tonight. Harrington 0-1, Ellenwood 1-0. TMP traveling to face Norton, 2 teams that are 0-1. TMP, I think that this was the team that Connor said has not won a game in forever. I can't remember. That conversation was a very long time ago. And time moves quickly around here. Republic County traveling to face Ellsworth, 2 teams that are 1-0. Minneapolis will face Lions in Lions, both teams looking for their first win. Russell will play Oakley. That game was yesterday. I don't have a result in front of me. But 8-man games. But Russell played Oakley last night. Area 8-man games, Victoria and Central Plains. You heard Connor Nickel talking about how big a deal this game is. That is tonight. Maxville will travel to Kinsley. First game for Kinsley. Maxville is 0-1. Nest City, who is 0-1, to St. John, 0-1. Logan Palco, who is 1-0, traveling to take on La Crosse. They're 1-0. Pretty Prairie will travel to face Stafford. Both teams 0-1. Hodgman County is 1-0 against Meade, who is 0-1. Kiowa County. Kiowa, am I pronouncing that right, Landon? Kiowa? Kiowa. Kiowa County. Thank you. Kiowa County will face Chase County, 1-0 versus 0-1. That game is at Burton. Little River will travel to Rural Vista. That game is being played at Hope. St. John's Beloit will travel to face Sylvan Lucas. Both teams are 1-0. And Fairfield will travel to face Skyline. In six-man in the area, South Barber, who is 0-1, goes to Otis Bison, who is 1-0. Western Plains faces Pawnee Heights, 0-1 versus 1-0. And Chase will travel to face Northern Valley. Those are your area six-man games. In the higher levels of football, the colleges games in the area. K-State plays tonight. They travel to face the Arizona Wildcats. That game will have a lot of intrigue. I don't know how fun it'll be. I think it will tell us a lot about Kansas State. If Kansas State goes out and competes, I still think they have a chance at a good season, even if they lose this game. But if they lose it bad, then, oh, buddy, Chris Kleiman's seat is going to get real hot, and it's going to be a disappointing season, I think. KU, the Kansas Jayhawks, they open Big 12 play. Yeah, they host West Virginia. They played at Missouri last week, fell in the first iteration of the border war in that's exactly 15 years. Since 2011, that game has not been played. They've reinstated that rivalry this year. 42-31, Missouri with the win. Kansas will host West Virginia to open Big 12 play. Should be an interesting game. Rich Rodriguez back at West Virginia. I have no idea how that goes, but we'll see. Should at least be interesting. And the Kansas City Chiefs will host the Philadelphia Eagles in a rematch of the Super Bowl. That game at 3:30 on Sunday. That game is going to be wild, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm interested to see if Rob Gronkowski is right, because if anybody is going to come out and punch you in the mouth, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. They are not scared of this Kansas City team, and they made that very well known. About out of time here on the show. Want to let you know that Sports Day is brought to you by Kern Floor Service. Whether you need a new ceramic, porcelain, or natural stone tile floors, our knowledgeable and friendly flooring experts are here to help you find the perfect floor for your lifestyle, home decor, and budget. Visit the Great Bend Showroom at 908 Coolidge to see, touch, and feel the latest styles. Also brought to you by Cody Crook of Red Cedar Land Company. Whether you're looking to sell your land or find the right property to buy, Cody takes pride in understanding your goals and making the process as smooth as possible. Call Cody at 620-617-7320 or visit redcedarland.com. And there's my music. If you are a Hoisington Cardinal fan, you can go to greatbendpost.com, hover over the More tab, scroll down to where it says Watch Cardinal Video Stream. That link will allow you to set up an account where you can watch tonight's game without going. You will also have mine and Gene Manweiler's commentary on that contest. That game's going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to watching Hoisington take on Heston. That's where I'll be tonight over on KHOK 100.7 Eagle Country. We are going to have, once I'm off the air, Agriculture Today, hosted by Shelby Barner, so don't go anywhere. You've been listening to Sports Day, live from the Mayo Money Management Studio, here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.